Hello, Aries. Welcome to your July reading. Let's go ahead and get started here with an oracle card. So what is it that Aries needs to know for July? I feel like that one, darkest fears. Okay, so actually, one of the biggest transits for the month doesn't happen until late July, but it's probably going to be the most impactful for you, which is that Chiron, which is in your sign, is going to retrograde. And I do think Chiron does bring out a lot of this stuff. It brings out a lot of the insecurities, the imposter syndrome, the fears. And it's not necessarily to make your life more miserable. Okay, that's not really the point. The point is to heal from all that stuff, right? We know that Chiron is, we call him the wounded healer. So we have that combination of the wound and the healing. And I think this is what this retrograde is really going to be all about. Now, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here. Okay, and I've been talking about that eclipse in Aries for months. That was way back in April. It was April 8th. So I know we are months away from that eclipse, and we're actually kind of getting to the point where we should be preparing for the next set of eclipses coming up this fall. But that eclipse was so impactful, and it was so powerful and so strong, and I think it really shifted a lot of the energy because Chiron was involved. So as he retrogrades, he is going to come back over that 19th degree of Chiron where he was at the eclipse time and, kind of help us to really fully mend from some of this stuff. Okay, so there's a wholeness, there's a completion that's going on for Aries specifically. I would say Libra will also feel it too. And I don't know, it's going to really feel like there's a sense of freedom from whatever has been kind of stagnating or has been preventing you from really being successful or whatever the case may be. We have believe in the impossible. And I think this is one of the best times to really believe in the impossible. It's one of the best times to kind of think really big and to have a lot of optimism and to have a lot of hope for what's coming, to have a lot of belief in your projects and your endeavors and your relationships, and just really keep this like this is going to work out. Like in your mind, this is going to work out. This is going to be okay. This is all going to happen for me. This is going to come to fruition. But it is also going to require you to go deep and persevere. And I think right now, astrologically, specifically Cancer season, Leo season, these are high creation times. And I would say Gemini season is a part of this as well. So we really want to create in this time frame. Okay, so there is a lot of work involved on our parts, and the work that we do and the investment that we inject into our endeavors, it will surface the fear, because every time we're kind of doing something new and we're pushing into unknown terrain, it's always like, is this really going to work? I really don't know. But, I'm kind of getting a lot of affirmation with this card here, believe in the impossible, that, it's going to work out. Yes, it is. But, we are going to have the second full moon in Capricorn on the 21st. Okay. We had one already in May. In June. July. I'm sorry. I'm getting my dates mixed up. We had one already in June. We're going to have a second one in July, both in Capricorn. So first degrees of Capricorn, last degrees of Capricorn. So even though we are in Cancer season, there's a lot of Capricorn energy coming through. So our perseverance is really, really important here. Okay, beautiful. Ace of Wands. Eight of Swords. Actually, I kind of feel like that one. Knight of Wands. Okay, I'm loving my Knight of Wands this month because he's just so happy, kind of feeling no matter what obstacles are placed in your way, you're not going to really lose your spirit. And I think that's kind of half the battle for most of us, is just kind of keeping those spirits high. And it's funny, the Knight of Wands with the darkest fears, the thing with the Knight of Wands is I think he just kind of jumps right into those dark fears and is like, yeah, so what? Yeah, I'm afraid. So what? okay, yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I have a lot of question marks. And even he's jumping straight into the Eight of Swords. It's like darkest fears, Eight of Swords, and here he is on like bounding in. I mean, there's a lot of enthusiasm. He's like, yeah, let's go for it. I don't, the thing I like about the Eight of Wands so much is that I don't know that he really cares whether he knows or not, whether he has like this sense of surety about everything. I don't know that he cares about that. I think he likes being unsure. I think he likes having the mystery ahead of him. I think he likes figuring things out as he goes along. And, you know, there's that element of discovery. He enjoys the process of discovery, right? This is Jupiter ruled. There's a lot of expansion that goes on, and he doesn't have to have that control. You know, like I think sometimes certain cards, certain archetypes, certain moments, you know, we do have that sense of like, I want to know because I want to have that control and I want to have dominance over what's going on. And I want to make sure it's going to work exactly the way it's supposed to work. But right now, Aries, it feels so much more open than that. And what I love about the Ace of Wands too, is it's just kind of this spark. You know, the Ace of Wands, all the aces, they're just kind of potentials. And the Ace of Wands is usually comes in the form of like a desire or kind of an impulse, if you will. And usually I kind of feel like the Ace of Wands is one of the more pure of the aces. And what I mean by pure, and I'm not trying to say the other ones aren't, but what I mean is that it's just very raw and primal. And it's just really led by spirit. And there's not a lot of logic to it, and there's not even a lot of feeling. It's just like, and this is so great for Aries because I think you operate so well in that impulse energy. And so when you have that desire, that impulse, that sense of spontaneity, and you just really go for it, you know, yeah, no, you don't know there. And it's like, you know that there are so many things you don't know. And when you know that there are so many things you don't know, you just kind of say, well, okay, well, I accept it. Okay. Is it a little scary? Yeah. Are there going to be fears around it? Yeah. Insecurities, you know, like that sense of imposter syndrome, which I do think is kind of a big one with this Chiron retrograde. Yeah, it's all going to be there, but it doesn't mean you don't power through anyway. And it doesn't mean you don't still go and succeed beyond your expectations, because I think that's what a Knight of Wands would do. He would not only reach the goal, not only attain his vision, but he would go beyond. Okay? Right now is the absolute best time to choose optimism. And it is a choice. And it's not like, you know, spiritual bypassing. It's not like you're suppressing or in denial. It's just the choice to perceive things with a sense of possibility. Okay? So what else for Aries? Okay. Really loving the High Priestess because it's like you loving the Five of Wands. For some reason, the Five of Wands is really making me happy this month. And I'll get to it in a minute. I want to start with the High Priestess first, but I'll talk about why it makes me really happy. So this High Priestess and the Ace of Wands, like this is one of the reasons why you shouldn't be doubting your impulses right now. Now we know that sometimes Aries does have that tendency to be very, you know, like you go for it really hard up front and then it kind of fizzles off and you lose interest and you go initiate the other thing. However, this month is a little bit different because we do have Mars in Taurus. We have Cancer season activated. We have these moons in Capricorn. And I honestly, there's so much permanence in the sky right now. And so whatever this Ace of Wands is, whatever this is initiating, you know, it's not leading you into this endeavor or into this adventure that's going to be short-lived. Okay? Mars and Taurus with Cancer, to me, this feels like roots, establishing really deep roots and letting those roots grow strong and secure. So this Ace of Wands isn't for nothing, and it's not just going to be ripped out by the roots later. It's going to stick and hold. So whatever you're working on, whatever new ideas come online, it doesn't have to be brand new stuff. It could be stuff you've been working on for a while, but chances are there's going to be some kind of creative surge that goes on throughout the month of July. And especially with Mercury moving into Leo, by the way, I forgot to mention Mercury coming into Leo, that 5th house activation, your creativity is going to be on like full force. So you should trust it. Leo also being a fixed sign. There's also a really strong sense of responsibility that comes through with Leo, and kind of adding to that sense of permanence even that much more. Okay? So I think things are kind of like this is fun, but it's also very serious. Like, this is your life. These are your goals. This is what you want for yourself. Okay, so you can have fun like the Knight of Wands, but he also has a mission to attend to, and he is still a warrior nonetheless. Okay, so he is still a warrior. He does still have that goal in mind, and he does still have some semblance of, he has a trajectory. All right, he knows where he's going. As High Priestess says, trust, believe, and whatever surfaces, darkest fears, okay, whatever surfaces for you, you get to channel it in new ways. Now, when I look at the 6 of Swords, there does seem to be movement. Now, the 6 of Swords isn't fast, and I don't know that July is going to be particularly fast. I think Gemini season was kind of weird because we had, Mercury coming through Gemini really fast. We had Gemini season in general, but then we also had, Saturn slowing down throughout the course of June. And then it retrograded at the end of June. And then, so time was kind of like felt fast, but it wasn't, or it wasn't fast, but then it really was. And it just was like strange. Okay. But throughout July, I think things are going to feel like there's a better pace. Like there's a better kind of consistency. Like when you wake up in the morning, you have a better handle on the way that things are going. Now, there's not a lot of control with like I say, as you go and do things toward your goal, and you continue to check off these tasks and these to-do list items that you have in order to accomplish your goal, there's still going to be a lot of question marks. But when it comes to how you manage your time, your choices that you make throughout the day, the way you invest in these goals, right? That's the stuff that's under your control. And when you wake up in that type of controlled manner, you are going to feel like there's a nice pacing. And it does seem to be getting you out of the rocky waters. Now, it's going to move you into the 5 of Wands, which you may be thinking, well, isn't that the rocky waters? Isn't this the tumult that you're trying to avoid? No, and not this month. And I'll tell you why. Because this feels like there's a challenge. And this has been, I'm going to be honest, this card has been coming out for a lot of signs. It's not just Aries. And this message has been coming through full force. And every month, there's always this theme that gets extracted. This is the theme, okay? And there's a challenge, and you're going to experience a challenge. It's going to be from another person. It's going to be from a circumstance that you have to deal with. It's going to come from, an unknown event that just kind of pops up. Okay. But the reason why this is so important and really good is because this forces you, Aries, to affirm and to declare your commitment to these goals. Okay? Like, let's say you actually do get into an argument with someone, or there is someone who's trying to compete with you in some way. And it's probably a feeling you don't really like. It's probably uncomfortable. And it probably instills in you that more competitive spirit, and it forces you to stand up and say, I believe this is going to happen. I'm going to continue working for it. I'm going to prove this person wrong. Again, this is kind of like the success is the sweetest revenge type of thing. But it's really magical. It's really powerful because for some reason, this declaration feels like it, boom, kind of resonates out into the cosmos, kind of resonates. And it kind of sets you up for the inevitable actualization. It's like the louder you declare it, the more you believe it, the more you kind of push it out there, the more likely it is to come true. And it's not just for them. It's in a way even convincing yourself. It's like the more you declare it, the more convinced you become that this dream can be actualized, that you can manifest this goal. And as annoying and irritating, as inconvenient and disruptive as this Five of Wands can be, it's probably one of the best things to ever happen because it's a turning point. It's definitely a pivot point for sure. And I'm not saying you weren't already on the right track, because I think you definitely are and have been on the right track. It's just that now it feels more solid. Now it feels like you have a real grip on it, and it feels like, well, now you've declared it. Well, now you can't quit before you start. You can't, because now that person is going to know, right? That you were so bold with it before and then you gave up. You're not going to do that, right? So this is what I mean by a sense of permanency. And it's almost as though this Five of Wands is the vehicle through which that permanency is established. It's through that declaration. When you start telling people, when you start pushing against circumstance, like for example, let's say it's not a person. Let's say there's, some big expense that comes up and you all of a sudden have to kind of like empty your bank account, but you have to do it, right? So you kind of are back at square one. This is that moment where you say, I am never going to be back here again. I do not like this place. I do not like this feeling. I don't like being broke. I don't like having X, Y, and Z. I will never, ever, ever be back here again. And I am going to make sure that this endeavor works, that these goals manifest, that I get myself there, because there's no way I'm going to continue living my life like this, right? So there's a push. And I think that Five of Wands is so fiery and it is so hot. It's like you have to, it's like you get in and you get out, but it's such an important part of this story. You may not realize it when you're in it because it probably, doesn't feel the best, but you'll look back and realize how important it was at some point. See, even Wheel of, this is what I mean. 10 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune. This is exactly what I was just saying. And 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups moving away from the 5 of Wands. Yeah. 6 of Swords, 8 of Cups. There's no doubt that there is significant separation throughout July from where you are and where you've been. And you're going to start to really see that separation. It's going to become extremely clear. I'm just thinking how weirdly quiet this process is. The process of the 8 of Cups specifically. I don't know that this is anything that's consciously happening, and I kind of see that sort of subconscious stuff with the High Priestess. It's not like, you can consciously know, okay, I'm moving on. Like you can consciously know that, but it probably doesn't really feel like it because the external circumstances, I think, are going to take a long time to kind of catch up, right? We need to remember that our mind can travel so far so quickly, like at a blink of an eye, boom, we can be 10 years in the future in our heads. But it takes a while for the earthly stuff, for the physical stuff to catch up. This declaration is just the declaration. This impulse is just the impulse. This is just the beginning. Now, you may be looking at me and be like, but I've been doing this for years, or I've been doing this for a long time, or, I've been working so hard. But I think there was something dragging, or there was something either holding you back, or there was something that had capped you off. And now there's a big shakeup, there's a big change in your methodology, and probably you're right. There's something something subconscious that was going on. Now, I don't think you need to spend time like trying to figure out what the block is. Okay, I want to be really clear about that. You can do the therapy, you can do the shadow work, you can do the inner child healing, like you can do that kind of stuff. But I feel like there's something about timing. And that for whatever reason, something is just ready to unlock. And there's no amount of inner work that you could do that could have sped up this process. There was no amount of meditation that you could do that's going to speed all of this up. Like there was just a divine time. And this is it. This is the divine time for these fears to kind of get out of your way. And you can then be free and liberated from those fears. So something unlocks in you. And I think this declaration really is like that which unlocks. You declare it, boom, the fears go out the window. They may still be kind of creeping and looking in a little bit, but they're not like in the room with you. Okay, they're not enveloping you so much. So there is freedom with that declaration. And look what happens. 10 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune. It's like suddenly the wheel that had been stagnant for so long starts to kind of creak forward and you start to gain more momentum. Now, I'm not saying you didn't already have momentum, but it just feels like better momentum, better luck, right? I'm seeing very lucky energy with the Knight of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune, 10 of Cups. It's just things are maybe a little bit more smooth, especially with the 6 of Swords. There's not so much of a fight. There's not so much of a struggle. Okay. Now you do still have to continue to show up consistently. You do still have to continue to invest. And I know that a big thing with law of attraction is I attract, I don't chase. One of the things that I struggle with law of attraction is how underrated inspired action actually is, right? And then in the business world, it's like all action and no energy. And I think we really need a combination of both in order to, really get us to where we're going. And I think this is highly action oriented, that Ace of Wands, because you're going to want to get up and go do the things. You're going to want to wake up and send the emails and create this and get your hands into the project and talk to the people. Like you're going to want to actually do it, and so when you are engaged in these actions, it really starts getting that Wheel of Fortune going. It really greases the wheel, if you will, especially if that wheel had gotten a little creaky or a little squeaky lately. It just wasn't really operating at full capacity. But I think this kind of is a turning point for you to find really a lot of joy and to find a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment in your projects. And it feels like there's an emotional success. And when you have that emotional success and you have the enthusiasm, you're going to feel that magnetism. Like that's when you're going to start really attracting. That's when you're going to start drawing things into you. But that attraction, that magnetism is only happening when you are in movement. Okay. So, there does seem to be a real turning point here. Very minimal, noticeable stuff. Like it's so not noticeable at first. As we progress through the months, I think you're going to start to see more and more and more results of what happens here. Okay. But I think you're definitely on the right track and you're definitely going to be very pleased with how things shift. Okay. So let's take a look here at the clarifier. So I'm about to pull out a whole bunch of new cards. We're going to talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about all of these. So if you want to join, you are more than welcome. The link for that is in the description box and the pinned comment thread down below. So let's go ahead and get started with the Emperor. Ace of Wands with the Emperor, very Aryan. That is the Aries card after all. Ooh, King of Wands. A lot of fire coming out. And the Six of Coins. We have the Lovers. Ooh, another Eight of Swords. Okay, I'm going to pull out 4 cards for that since we got a repeat. Magician. I actually pulled out 2. I mean, we're just going to have a lot of cards for that. I don't normally like to pull out that many cards, but that's fine. We'll take it. We got the Knight of Wands, Queen of Coins, Queen of Cups, and the Justice card. I love the Six of Coins with the Justice card. 3 of Wands. There's the 10 of Wands, which is the work involved. Page of Coins. 6 of Cups. Judgment. Another Knight of Wands. Now for the 5 of Wands. Queen of Swords. 7 of Cups. 7 of Coins. 5 of Coins. Now, 5 of Coins is really similar to the 5 of Wands, so we'll talk about the meaning of that. It's also been coming out quite a bit this month, too. And 9 of Coins. 10 of Coins. Beautiful. Another 8 of Cups. King of Cups. Fool. Another page. I really like the pages in your reading today. And another Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so this is where we're going to pick up. So if you want to join Aries, you are more than welcome. Thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing July, and I'll talk to you soon.